The Meiri says that he's the one who created you originally, and he's also the one that's the Yotzer. That means that he's constantly sustaining creation. He's constantly recreating the world on a regular basis. This is specifically catered to all of those people that have the excuse, oh, listen, this generation's a weak generation, so Hashem understands. So in Psalm 33, verse 15, says, Mevin kol ma'aseh, meaning Hashem knows every generation. He knows this weak generation, He knows the generation of Moshe Rabbeinu, He knows the generation of after, in between, before, after, meaning all of you can do. All of you can follow Hashem, all of you can do everything. There's no such thing as, no, we're weak, so therefore we don't have to do. He's the judge, He's the witness, He's the plaintiff, meaning don't think that He's going to forget anything. Don't think He doesn't know what He's doing. Don't think that you can fool Him. Don't think that you can bribe Him. Everything is from heaven except the fear of heaven. Smart, not your choice. What's your choice? Fear Hashem or not. Decide whether you're going to follow what He says or not. That's your free choice. So Hashem says, I know what the outcomes of your free choices are. Actually, if Hashem interfered with this free choice, He wouldn't have the right to punish us for it. This is also another misconception, that most people think that everything that you did until the age of 20, you don't get punished for. That's what most people believe. This is wrong. You can find the sources in Rabbi Yehuda Aftaya, you can find it in the Reshit Chochmah, you can find it in the Gemara, and a few other places that I can't remember off the top of my head. That's not what it means. What it means is that all sins that you've made until the age of 20, you don't get punished in this world. Anything above the age of 20, you can be punished for them in this world. But everything you've ever done from the time you were a baby, little toddler, you will have to pay for a reward or a punishment for, regardless of what age. That's why there's also children, what we think is children, in Gehenom as well. That's the way the world was created. Hashem created. You have a complaint, go to Him. There's a complaint box. Looks like a garbage bag. That after we realize there's no such thing as favoritism in Shemayim, after we realize it doesn't matter who your father is. Pasuk in the Torah says, "Et Esav saneti." Hashem says, I hated Esav. Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin says, Esav has no Olam HaBa. Why? He's a Rasha. His father was Gadol. His grandfather was even bigger. His brother was Tzaddik. So there's no favoritism in Shemayim. Doesn't matter who your father is. Doesn't matter who your friends are. Doesn't matter who your uncle is. Doesn't make a difference. Whatever you are, wherever you are, Hashem knows. Ani mevin. He knows. Velo mikach shochad, and there's no bribery, meaning that a person cannot think that, no, but I made some mitzvot, so that's fine. Those mitzvot are going to replace my sins. I wasted seed for 20 years of my life. I did tshuva, and I keep Shabbat now. And I don't waste seed anymore, and I keep Shabbat. That fixes it, right? No. Good, you're going to get schar for keeping Shabbat, doing tshuva and not wasting seed anymore. But to fix the wasting seed has a different tikkun. But to say just because you stopped it, therefore it goes away, or just because you made a different mitzvah, therefore everything else before that happens, this is exactly what it says. You cannot use your current mitzvot as bribery to Hashem. But mitzvot, you're going to get schar for. Sins, you get punished for. You still have to do tshuva every single day. There's no thing as someone's religious. Okay, so you keep some mitzvot, chazak u'baruch, but you're still making sins. The good news is that Hashem pays well. He even pays the Reshaim. So how much is He going to pay the kids that He loves so much? It's not all hopeless. It's not all terrible. Not just punishment. It's also good. But it's midah keneged midah. Even your ability to do mitzvot is His. Everything is going to be accounted for. Even extra words you spend talking to your own wife. Imagine if it's not your wife. The Knesset Israel says that the reckoning, the cheshbon, is also referring to the fact of how bad the sin was. It didn't say that. It says how much kavanah you had in your sin. How excited were you to make a sin? How excited you are to go do something against Hashem? It says that, my friends, you pay extra for. And don't let the Yetzirah let you think that just because you didn't really ask to be born, therefore you can sin. Because the reality is that even though the Mishnah says you were born even without asking, you will die without asking, you will live without asking. At the end of the day, every single person in the hospice center, you told them, listen, you're dying. What do they try to do? They still try to get another breath. They still try to breathe more. They still want more. They're still willing to pay every single penny to live another second, another moment. The fact that you didn't ask to come is irrelevant. Once you're here, you want to be here. Everyone tries to take an extra breath, even if they know that living another moment will be pure suffering. I can tell you from my own personal experience, but despite the fact that I told you guys that after the first surgery, I was begging the doctors to kill me, and if there was a plug, I would have pulled it myself. The reality is, I still continue to breathe. Now, even though the next 62 days were of massive pain, my own version of Gehenom in this world. Obviously, after I read about Gehenom, it's nowhere near. But nonetheless, it was my own version of Gehenom. I still continued to breathe. Why? You still want to live. But nonetheless, I continued. Why did I continue? It's suffering. It's painful. Why? Because everyone wants to live. Even the guy that commits suicide. The second he jumps off, he realizes it's a mistake. How do I know? People that tried to commit suicide said it. One guy that actually jumped off of the bridge in the Golden Gate in San Francisco, he actually survived. Jumped maybe 5-6 years ago. He's one of 2 people that ever survived jumping off the Golden Gate. He said himself, there's a video online of him, young guy, maybe your age. He says, my life was horrible. My life was miserable. I hated it.
I got on the next bus. I sat in the very last seat in the middle row. We began to drive out to the Golden Gate Bridge. A wave of emotion overcame me as I stepped down off of this bus. My feet heavy, my heart palpitating, waterfalls flowing out of my eyes. I walked forward. As I stood atop the Golden Gate Bridge walkway, staring and leaning over the 4-foot-nothing rail, peering down to the looming waters below. I walked back toward the traffic. I ran as fast as I could, and I threw myself over the rail.
The millisecond that my hands left that rail, instant regret for my actions.
I fell 220 feet, 25 stories at 75 miles an hour in 4 seconds. I prayed on the way, what have I just done? I don't want to die. God, please save me.
Second, my feet left the bridge, I regret. Everything flashed in front of my eyes and I realized it was a mistake. Why? Everyone wants to live. The fact that you want to live, that's the reason why you have to pay the bill, for the full fence. Any sin you make, you will have to pay. Ultimately, this whole thing, this whole point of your life is to know that at the end you will have to pay the bill.
Let me know what you think, and make sure to share it, because other people need to learn too.